This is Suspenders Unbuttoned, a podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books.
Hi, welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we're excited to welcome Markos Papadatos, the power journalist. Yes. Markos, the power journalist Papadatos.
Yay.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's fun to finally have our turn interviewing you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
I just want to start out with the congratulations. You just reached a crazy milestone, 20,000 articles. That's crazy.
It's over 8 million words. I know that much. It's over 8 million words.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy. It's an amazing achievement. And how many are you putting out a week? Like how many different articles?
6 to 10 a day.
6 to 10 a day. Yeah. Wow.
That's insane. I might just
every day, so yeah.
I'm a kind of a math person. I'm just like starting to grind out those numbers. It's an amazing achievement. And so you have, how long have you been doing this over?
17 and a half years. February 2006 I started.
Yeah. And so you just have really been consistently at it
Yep.
So you recently had a couple of crazy interviews. Julie Andrews caught our eye. How did you land Julie Andrews?
I had some leftover love from Carol Burnett, so yeah, it helped from last year. So yeah, and plus he was promoting this great book, The Enchanted Symphony. It's like one of the greatest children's books of the year. So I'm like, I have to talk to her about this.
Right.
The illustrations were great. The theme is great. The moral, it's very timely and relevant because it deals with the pandemic. So it's like the perfect children's book. So I'm like, this is like the perfect.
This is your opportunity. Right.
And it's not entertainment and they can still talk about the books. Which is great.
Correct. So we've been in this unique situation where the writers and the actors have been on strike. And so is, besides maybe talking about writing, what are some of the other things that you have had in order to keep your entertainment news coming out?
All the music genres and concerts, because now the world's opened up again. You can go to all these concerts every night. And then I have all these Olympians that are half my age that are like trying to make the Olympic team next year in all these sports.
Yeah.
Whether it's track and field or swimming or whatever they throw at me.
Right. No, because that's a big deal. People need to get to know the Olympians. They'd like to do that before. Right.
It's like becoming younger and younger kids every week that I never heard of. I'm like, who are these kids?
Yeah, but they're always up and coming. Looks like the gymnastics world might have some of the same people back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Those are great options. Yeah, no, it's been interesting to try to figure out how you're going to go about doing some of these things. But
there's always ways around it. You can always find like a charity component to talk about, a Broadway show, a voiceover. There's always a loophole. I figured it out right now.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your process and how you're finding, all these great people to interview and deciding what to chat about and all that. Tell us a little bit about your process.
At this point, they come to me. It's all lined up. It's who to say no to every day. I wake up every morning. I have 2,000 requests in my inbox, and it's like eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Wow.
It's like who to say no to because of time constraints or who has like whatever's coming out like this week. Because, every Friday is New Music Friday. It's like 2,000 songs every Friday. Right. So it's like I got to find the one that I like. The genre has to be relevant. I have to like it.
Right.
Wants a negative review. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, like that's interesting. Like, when you first started your career, I bet you didn't have 2,000 in your inbox.
I would get like 3 a semester in college. If I was lucky, 3 interviews a semester, if I was lucky. I would do 3 an hour. So, yeah.
3 an hour. My gosh.
That's a crazy transformation, though, honestly. Right? Yeah. And to have, like, you're saying no to almost everybody, really.
It's my time constraints. It's not that I want to say no. I just can't fit in. It's not enough hours in the day.
Right.
They haven't
Marcus,
told me.
tell us, like, what was like your one breakthrough? Like, you were in college, you were getting 3 maybe a semester, and then what was your breakthrough and kind of like into this world?
I think Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy was the biggest name out of everybody had done, and everybody loved 98 Degrees. So it was like, oh, I made it now, and like all my friends, boy band way. So yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is cool.
Right.
He was just at 90s Con, I think.
Yeah. Well, all the boy bands too are coming back in syncs, like back, like they're putting stuff. I know, right?
Are you going to interview Justin?
That's the only one I haven't done, but if he wants to, okay. If not, next.
Get us some scoop. Is there going to be a reunion tour?
Yeah,
I would think so. I would think so. They wouldn't have all this hype for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they,
Think about the new
Definitely
Trolls
playing
movie.
it up.
The
Yeah.
new
They all
Trolls
have-
movie, and it's about them like reuniting. So
yes,
I don't see it not happening. Like, yeah.
right. But you know, they got themselves a TikTok now. The NSYNC, all the guys had one, and certainly Lance Bass has been very active on TikTok. And they, you know, have what 4 TikToks up now or something like that. But it's like, oh yeah, it's verified, it's up. They're like going right.
They have to. It's inevitable at this point. They have to have. Look, it's the only boy band that hasn't been together. So yeah.
Plus, there they all are. You like can see the writing on the wall. Like it's like, come on, let's go.
It's happening.
You know, and the music concerts have just been huge. You know, Taylor Swift has just like really busted the doors off big concerts again, right? So
I saw her at SoFi Stadium in LA.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I would love.
Like
You know,
3.5-hour concert, just her. I was like, wow.
when she was here, it
45
rained.
songs.
All of my friends went to the show where it was pouring rain and she sang for 3.5 hours in the rain. Incredible. Yeah. I'm mad because my daughter, I wanted to take her. She's like, I don't really like Taylor Swift. And then she left Boston and now she's a Swiftie, diehard. Like,
See?
and
Says
I'm
that
like,
on people.
we should have went. Yeah. Should have gone. Tell us, so you got to go to the Taylor Swift concert. Tell us a little bit about going to events, and do you write your articles differently when you're going to an event versus you know, doing a phone interview or a Zoom interview?
I guess there's a different energy to it because I could just like feed off of the crowd and include them in the story, like a raucous response or like what they like, if there was a joke said, or if there was like I don't know, like something like a proposal or a revelation or something of interest that was shouted out, or like if they were supporting any causes or something, or a surprise cameo on stage.
Right.
That keeps us on your toes. It's like, oh, you stayed at home, you wouldn't have found out, and you had to read about it the next day.
Right.
But when you're there, you see it.
Right.
Your events are like wide ranging, so concerts for sure. But we actually rescheduled this because you got to do something about
Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
Yes, the new movie. It was like the sweetest thing. I was probably the oldest person in the theater.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It's like me and the press, and we were like, oh, this is like has a good story to it. It's like it's really cool. And then Taraji P. Henson does like the villainess in it. It comes out on Friday. It's really good.
No way. That movie's going to be really popular. I mean, in that preschool, early school age range, it's huge. Like Paw Patrol is everything. So, I see there's Paw Patrol things all around me at work. So,
I love the shows that they would remember every year. They would do like the Sesame Street and like the Paw Patrol shows at like the garden.
Yeah.
Like, with the kids, it's like interactive and stuff. Yep. And it's like, I just love it. It's like with them with like the body suits with like the pups.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to take a pup
one, but yeah, I've seen them all around. It's so funny, the big huge costumes.
I don't know. That movie is super fun. So when you go to a movie premiere, like what's that like when you go there as a journalist?
Well, now there's no actors, so it's interesting. It's just like, it's just they still can't promote stuff, anything that's AMPTP. So it's different. And they give you free popcorn or a drink or a dessert, and then you just go and enjoy it. And then they tell you, like, it'll say like on the screen, like when the embargo is lifted, you don't want to leak something in. That makes sense. I respect that because, if it's like a surprise cameo, like back when I did Dungeons and Dragons, it was Bradley Cooper had like a surprise cameo, like don't leak the special guest. I'm like, don't worry, I'm the anti-spoiler. So yeah, I know from like the scope in the Hallmark world. So yeah.
Right. The spoilers. Yeah, no, the whole strike thing, it gives a weird twist to everything.
Very weird. It's like interesting, like, oh, in a way it gives you a break, but then you're like, oh, there's so much I could be promoting and now I can't.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And
They're lost, but still.
right.
It's
But you're still getting 2,000 emails a day. So
a day.
yes.
That's crazy. I'm still thinking about that. I'm like, that's 10,000 emails a week. How do you even sort through those?
just the delete button is the greatest invention. I'm real.
Copy, delete.
You're like, okay, but it's like it has to like appeal to you, like something that stands out. Like it has to be like
Julie Andrews is always going to stand out.
of course, right. Or some, like I need something like tangible, like an album, something that I've been looking forward to, like a reunion tour, a new movie, a tour, a single, something that's of it. Just like Friday, I'm going to see my favorite female country artist in concert, and I haven't seen her in like years.
Oh.
And who is that?
Martina McBride.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
Concert, literally, the world shut down. It was like March 10th, 2020, and she never had it at Westby.
Right.
So now this is like our makeup concert that we never had. So it's like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
Right,
that
so
is.
how much traveling do you do?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Went to LA. I went to Montreal, Canada. I went to Florida, all these different places.
Yeah.
I was going to go to, where was it, Boston this weekend, but then I have another event in New York that's like closer. So I'm going to go there instead because it's right in my backyard.
Yeah. I said, darn, I'm close to Boston. I would have gone with you. No.
Yeah, you would have liked it. It was like Greg Vaughn from Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rob Wilson.
Yeah.
I
Super
don't know
fun.
who's Rob.
Are you doing something else instead?
Yeah.
I'm doing Tyler Christopher from General Hospital, New York.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never met him in person after all these phone interviews, so I'd love to always meet him.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's such a good actor. He played that role for like 20 years. He's like the OG.
Right.
Nicholas.
That's super fun to get to meet all these people. Was it an easy transition when we went into pandemic mode and everybody was distance, or was that hard to do at first?
For me, that was like more work because the publicist had to justify their paycheck. Like, oh, let's just send it to Markos, it'll get done. I'm like, yeah. But I was all day on Zoom, and I was like, oh, I need to go out and walk because my feet are like,
right.
I didn't even remember how to walk anymore. I was like, oh, if I was on the computer for like 12 hours, I was like, my back was killing me.
Right.
Oh,
It's like you need to change place, and
at the 20
you like
steps a day. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to interact too. Like that's why we got chatting. When we were at Rama Drama, right?
Drama, West Palm Beach.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was so much fun. That was one of the best events ever.
It was. It was super fun. We had never done in-person interviews until
wow.
We were
my job every night.
Oh yeah, we hadn't met.
Yeah.
Oh.
In person, and then we had never done right.
Wow.
So we met you shortly after we met each other.
Yeah.
I live in Minnesota. She lives in
Rhode Island. Yeah.
You live where?
Rhode Island.
I love Rhode Island.
Yeah.
That was like the first event I went back to, like post COVID. It was like a Days of Our Lives event at like by the airport there.
Yeah.
It was like the easiest drive. I left like 5:15 in the morning. Within 3 hours, even in the pouring rain, I got there on time. It was like no traffic. It was just me and the highway.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, in 3 hours, I was like, I wish I knew it was that quick. I could have probably driven to Boston, but I'm like, let me just stay in New York where it's good to be.
Boston's just like another hour.
Not even 15 minutes, I think, because the actors
it's 15 minutes.
Yeah. Good times.
I'm right near. I'm in between the airport and Boston, really. So.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah. All roads lead to Rhode Island, Stephanie says. Imagine that. That's new. It's always Minnesota. We always joke about Minnesota. So tell us how you prepare for all your interviews. Because if you're doing multiple a day.
I don't. I just wing it at this point, to be honest. Maybe 2 minutes before. I'm like,
you don't need to do anything. Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, what are they promoting? Boom, boom, boom. Got it.
Yep.
My photographic memory helps for the rest. It's my secret.
Everyone's got to have a superpower when you're doing some different things.
Like remember the quotes, even if for the most part I can get away with it, like like what they told me and stuff. That's why everything you ever told me, it sticks in there.
Right.
So when you're interviewing, you don't have to write it all down, or do you record it?
I record it just in case for their sake, because only 4 people out of 20,000 ever told me that I misquoted them, and I'm like, I did not. You just didn't like your answers.
Right.
That's true. Be honest.
I love that. Who was like your most like unexpected like interview? Like you were like getting unexpected answers. Like sometimes it's just kind of fun when you talk to those people. You're like, say what?
Good or bad?
How good? Let's go. Whatever you want to share.
At the time, I was really back then. I think I was gonna quit, and then I interviewed Joe Jonas. He was like the nicest guy in the world, and this was like 2010, 2011 when they were popular.
Right.
If he can be nice, and like at the time, a lot of the other stars were like big-headed.
Yeah.
Like, let me stick around a little longer if Joe is nice and he'll give you like the respect and attention all the journalists deserve. I'm like, this was really cool.
That's fun to hear. He's big in the news right now too. So
right.
Yeah.
Joe Jonas is like never not big. I swear. Maybe cooled down a little bit, but he's always been big.
They're back, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to think. Like, so you were at a point where you're like, this is not that fun anymore, or something like that.
I'm like, why is everybody a deuce lately? So I'm like, then I interviewed Joe. I'm like, okay, because at the beginning it was like 3 steps forwards, 2 steps backwards.
Yeah.
My college days I was just like another name in the hopefuls. But then I'm like, okay, once I develop a portfolio and a name and a turnaround rate, that's all everybody wanted. Like when other journalists had like 3 weeks from now, I have it in like 20 minutes. Okay. Here, you have all the rest of our client list.
Right. No, I kind of love that. Actually, that's actually been part of Sarah and my superpower in our little world, is that we are able to kind of roll pretty quickly and adapt very quickly. So everyone's got to have a little bit of a superpower, and so that
makes us a little bit different. Yeah.
So proud. That's why I love working and collaborating. And you ran the workshop so well that time. It was so organized and structured.
Yeah.
We overplan and then can roll with whatever happens. So it's like you have a foundation to stand on. It's why you don't have to prepare that much anymore. It's because you have a large foundation of knowledge to stand on. Right.
Yeah. You and Colin Ecclesfield, I could listen to talk all day. When he had the workshop, I was like, I'm like introvert syndrome. I'm like, this is all food for thought. I was like, I don't know what the answer is to this and that. It was like cool. It was like nice. Kept me on my toes the whole time. I was like, wow.
He was fun to talk with. We've gotten to talk with him twice now, or 3.
Yeah, because we talked to him, and we went to Rama Drama at Christmas in Chicago too.
Oh, I missed out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. Though. Too bad.
I heard it was good, but I was like,
yep, it was small. Hey, who did you ever book that you never thought you would book?
Stevie Nicks. That was like that broke me. I was like,
I'm like, Stevie Nicks.
I was like, we almost spoke for like an hour, and I only prepared like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm like, what am I going to talk to her for an hour for? It was like midnight my time in New York, because in LA she was like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm half asleep, but I waited my whole life for this.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, it was like, before you know it was like 58 minutes, 10 seconds. I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
That's super cool.
And it took me 9 hours to write, because that one went through phases. Like if you're given a big name like that, where you're like, it's either sink or swim, and I want to be like, so I want to like fly.
Right.
Boy, I made it like my best ever. I was like so concise. I gave her the floor, and I was like, I want to give her like a royal welcome, a royal.
Yeah. And it's Stevie Nicks. Like,
right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just like throw out like whatever for Stevie Nicks.
It had to be like a whole like storytelling article.
Right. Because here's me jumping on the Stevie Nicks article because it's Stevie Nicks, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when I posted on Facebook and Twitter, I was like the happiest guy in the world. I'm like, this is like the biggest pat in the back ever. I'm like, and then I didn't know about it. Everybody else was telling me that it was posted because they follow her.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anybody else surprised you like that? Like anybody else that you've interviewed that's like a big name, posted your article and kind of got it noticed?
I loved Robert Wagner. Remember?
Okay.
Who, and that came with a lot of controversy. Like the comments were like, most of them were respectful and nice, but then and I'm like, guys, were you there? So
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I wasn't even born. I would never ask him anything about that.
Right.
For me, I grew up watching him in Austin Powers, and remember he with the patch.
So good.
Is there going to be a sequel?
Right.
I wanted to see the patch again. I just love this voice. I can listen to him talk forever.
I love everything about Austin Powers. Come on, let's.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that.
It's like a cult classic, like a 90s classic. So
not even a cult. That thing was huge, man.
Right. And I was like, and like I loved him in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. He did that with Natalie Wood at the time. And like I saw it on thank God for YouTube. So I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yes.
Right.
He's such a good actor. And like the other one that was Susan Flannery was in that movie Towering Inferno, I think.
Yeah, Towering Inferno.
I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. I was like, wow, he had such a big record. It's just sad that like people. I'm like, really, I had to defend it. Now he's like in his 90s. Come on,
right?
He shows some respect,
right? Also, it's just like we weren't there, and
whatever. I'm like, look, even the daughters took his side, so yeah,
right.
And whatever. I'm like, I'm not here to judge you, but thank you for sharing your. You're like one of the last leading men of the golden age of Hollywood. We don't have
well, exactly. You can still appreciate somebody's work, even if you don't.
Yeah, like
appreciate other things.
I like those because those I have to do research on. I have to ask my parents. I'm like, who are these people? Like, I don't know. I was like, I missed out on all that, like the Happy Days or any stuff like Meet Me in St. Louis. All those movies.
That's my favorite. Yes.
What's her?
Like when it's Margaret O'Brien, she was
I'm a Judy Garland fan.
Or Judy Garland.
Same one. I think Margaret O'Brien played the little girl in it.
Yeah, she played the little girl. Yeah.
I had to do research. I'm like, okay, this was 1944. I was negative 41. So
negative years. So are your parents big into entertainment also?
But they grew up in Greece, so it's like a different type of entertainment.
Yeah.
So unless it was like dubbed, then they would know it.
Okay.
It's funny because I love Lucy in Greek. In Greek, you say kalimera is good morning. And your mouth is open, kalimera. And then you said good morning, and it's like, it comes out weird.
I actually thought that would be really funny to watch.
It was hilarious, like nothing like synced properly.
Right?
They were like the Power Rangers in Greece. Like, okay, this is like so bad, but
speaking of Power Rangers, when we were at Rama Drama, Erin Cahill was there, and she was the pink Power Ranger, and
I found that out that day. So
so she had Power Rangers things to sign and regular Hallmark things to sign. Yeah, no.
Bread and butter.
Yeah. It's like super fun.
And Andrew Walker's my favorite.
Yeah, well, he's
just the sweetest. Yeah,
he is so sweet, right? Yeah, I mean, they really all are. We have to say, like, every time we speak with somebody, we get off and we're like, okay, they were so nice, right? And then meeting people in person.
Getting surprised, right? You keep getting surprised that they're just so real.
It's a Canadian thing I've noticed. There's a pattern.
They're all, not all of them are Canadian. Yes. A huge number of them are, right? For
the nice ones.
Well, let's talk about Hallmark a little bit, since we met at an event that celebrated rom-coms and Hallmark, and since then we've seen you roll through lots of interviews of different Hallmark actors. So how did that just happen naturally, like because you're in the entertainment world, or was there like something that made you get into the Hallmark world?
It was an overlap. All the soaps, most of the soaps I work with, they like double dip and triple dip, and I'm like, okay. Yep. And it's by default. I'm like, oh, they want me to promote their movie. For me to promote, I have to watch it, so they have to send it to me. So it was like interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
So who was the first? Do you remember who was your first soap star / Hallmark star? Like, what was that overlap?
Of soap star was Scott Clifton from Bold and the Beautiful.
Okay.
2017, and it's funny because I got into that world by accident.
Oh.
The assignment was interview an Emmy winner, and I'm like, okay. And that was in 2017. I had done music for the last 12 years.
Okay.
I'm going to find an Emmy winner in like the daytime world. Like, I never I knew like some of the soaps, you know, I would watch them in Greece when you had nothing else to watch, but like I just find out, I'm like, oh, which of these has like a music background that I can talk to from these winners? Scott Clifton had an album. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
And I reached out. Then the Bold and Beautiful people came to me. I'm like, okay. And then we spoke, and then the word got around that I was good, and then then it was like a snowball effect. Because in that world, I guess when you do good work, like it travels and it like resonates, and like they want more and more.
Right.
And you can have it out in an hour.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Markos.
Right.
Right.
And I
I
think
Yeah.
they want, you know, somebody like once somebody's like says they can kind of trust what you're doing.
Right.
It
It's not
does
gonna leak
well.
the storyline a week or two in advance.
Yeah. We'd only been doing this 6 months before we met you at Rama Drama. And we had gone from nothing to we were hosting things at Rama Drama and on a panel, right? And but once we kind of started, Paul Green and Andrew Walker were our two big first names, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. They were good ones. They were really
And
great.
I think I spoke to Paul in the beginning during the pandemic for the music background, and I think
Oh, right.
he also flies planes by
Yeah.
me in Long Island at Farmingdale back in the day because it's like a Republic airport here. So yeah, something along those lines. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, that's funny. All right, tell us, what do you think what made you stand out, or what makes you stand out, you know, from all the other people out there that are just pushing content?
Efficiency. Like I don't need. Look, I do 6 to 8 a day. Like I don't need half an hour with anybody. They know I don't need like 20 minutes or 15 or 10. I could do it in 4 or 5 to prove that I'm a good journalist.
Right.
Then they know I can have it right away.
Right.
It's got to be published. Everybody's going to be happy. We move on to the next request. Boom, boom, boom. It's like a well-oiled machine. It's like, it's like musical chairs. It's fun.
Interviews. But that's great. You need such a short amount of time, and you can put out good content, good quality content,
right.
and ask good questions in a short amount of time.
You know, like go beyond the surface. Like what inspires and drives them every time. It's not just the Wikipedia answers. What's your kid's name? Who are you married to? What's your favorite ice cream flavor? No, you don't get that with me. You get like what you want to hear, like similar questions, but everybody's story is different. So you can learn something from everyone. Like I learn every day. Yeah.
Right. That's a great answer. Our favorite answers are always the spontaneous answers that we get when people are sharing something a little more personal to them, right?
Yeah.
And something maybe other people haven't heard before.
Right. And it's just like, and then the public's like, we didn't know this about our clients. I'm like, oh, thank you for bringing that up. I'm like, oh, happy to.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best.
And with writing, here's what people didn't realize. Like, even if I've had a bad interview, with the way my article turns out, you could never tell.
Right.
Like some big ones, I'm not going to say some names. I could tell you later, but yeah, like with these athletes, it could be like total deuces. But when you read my article, like, oh, you like the good answers, like whatever was usable, and then you'll think it was like the best interview ever. So yeah.
So what makes an article, an interview, feel like a bad interview versus something that you get off the phone or whatever you're doing and you're like, that was a great interview?
Like keep it feel like a conversation. Like I've done like years ago when I did Sebastian Bach. I'm throwing him under the bus, but yeah, he was like it felt like he was high or something. It was like every answer was like, huh? It was like he just woke up or he was just like in some weird state. And then I'm like, I had to prompt, and he had to call me later. He's like, I need my coffee. He's like, call me later. And I'm like, it's like pulling teeth to like get an answer for like, you have an album and a tour that you're promoting and you can't help me out with this? Come on.
Right. At least answer the questions or have a conversation. No, like it's interesting. They're the one promoting stuff. You're writing up a great article, right? So
it came out great somehow. I don't know how I got what I got, but it was like 18 minutes of like pulling teeth, like prompting, like trying to get like it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Right.
Mentally draining. We have a question in our comment section. Lillian wants to know if you write opinion pieces.
Sometimes I used to, but then those could come off. You have to show both sides. I learned that the hard way because sometimes it's like when you're too biased, it comes across and then it comes out as puff pieces. And when you like hate something, it has to be like some sort of balance.
Right.
And I try to find that like now, like when I go to concerts and movies, I have to find like what could have been better, what they could grow on. So it's like more fair and balanced and objective. And that's a good lesson that even I learned like this year. Like, okay, I can't just throw big words here and there. It has to be like objectivity.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Especially in the headlines, because, you know, like, you just don't want to throw anybody off or throw under the bus because, yeah.
You know, one of the things is people, sometimes things that I don't care for, other people really like. And so, you know, saying how that went, it's interesting. Like, then how do you get that feeling into your article that maybe you didn't feel that without saying that was horrible, right?
Objective. It's like you say, like, oh, this is what I felt. Oh, this is what's happening. And then could have been better, or just it ran too long. It lost interest. Yeah, like low energy. There's ways to phrase it.
Yeah.
Politely and respectfully. And then if you show it, they'll realize at the end that you're fair. Or if they look at the other reviews and if there's a consensus, then you're, yeah. I try not. I always want to be the first one, so then they always have to like have mine to compare to.
Right? I kind of love that you turn them out fast like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now everybody has to like find a way to like not upstage me, or it's like when you have out there, like it's like you set a standard out there. It's like a benchmark. Right. So cool.
Here's where the bar is at. You got to like decide where you're going, on what side of that bar are you going.
Yeah.
I love that. So you've been to a lot of concerts. Who are like probably your like top 3 or, you know, few concerts that you've ever been to?
Favorites. I love Queen with Adam Lambert. That was
oh wow.
Yeah, I bet. You know, because Queen, you got that Queen set, and Adam Lambert's got the voice, right? So
I love the classic rock stuff. I just love that stuff. You know, like The Who and Madison Square Garden, Roger Daltrey. Oh, that voice. Or who else? Oh God, so many. Pat Benatar, and Nancy Wilson of Heart.
Yeah.
Martina McBride, I'm biased, but yeah, Billy Joel.
Yeah.
All these, yeah.
I saw Pat Benatar not too long ago. I'm going to say, when you see your like people you saw as a teenager, right, and then when you go see them again, and her and Spider are sitting on stools and they're drinking coffee, you know, and I'm just like, when your rock stars age perfectly with you, it's like, yeah, we're all on the stool drinking coffee now.
Yeah, that's cool. I love Chicago. One of my favorites.
Just, I got Queen. I got Chicago here. What do I have over there? A little Tom Petty.
He passed, so I never got to cross paths with him. But I love 25 or 64 is one of my favorites. That's like a masterpiece.
To play that in high school for pep band.
Remember with the Parkland, when they dedicated it to the band, it was like, oh, that just tugged at my heartstrings. Remember when the tribute?
Yep.
Oh, the Chicago, like you're the inspiration and all that stuff.
Yep. I've seen Chicago in concert a few times. They're great.
REO Speedwagon, they would do together. Chicago and the Doobie Brothers.
I've met them. I've met a few of these guys actually. So
yeah, you have.
Right.
Yeah. I have not.
I mean, at work. They come to work.
Oh, and in Florida, I love
open that up again, Julie.
Huh?
Are they going to open that up?
Because I work in a hospital, so a kids hospital, and so we used to get all these people. We're kitty corner from the big XL Center in the Twin Cities, and so they would come over and visit the kids. But we, since the pandemic, haven't really opened that back up again. So the Doobie Brothers and Journey were traveling around together.
Yes.
So, right, and so we got the Doobie Brothers one day and Journey the next day. Those guys gave out so much stuff. They were so. I'm under like positive things of people. I will say those two bands were so good with the kids and their families and the staff.
Wow.
Like, just had stuff for everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really those were fun.
That is fun. All right, I want to know: have you ever been interviewing somebody and they've said something that just really threw you off or like shocked you? Like, and you had to like not react or something?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
By now, I'm sure just like doesn't even
No, they tell me everything and they spill their guts to me. I'm like, okay, this is too much TMI, and I'm like, okay, they know I'm not gonna print it, but it's like, okay.
Are you like the therapist then? They like just can talk to you.
It's cool. It's cool. It's like it's fun. I like it. I love it how they can trust me and I tell them, and it's like. It's great to have like that rapport and grow with them and build with them. It's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
Do you
great.
do you have people that you've interviewed like multiple times over the years that you have a really good connection with? So who's somebody you've had on multiple times?
Oh God, Joe Nichols, country
Yeah.
star. Who else? Oh God, so many. Big Shot, the Billy Joel tribute band, Big Shot.
Yep.
Oh, I feel like the Hallmark people. There's always a new project to talk
Yeah,
about.
they always got something rolling out.
All the soap stars, because they have always stuff like storylines that they're promoting or trying for their Emmy reels and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
The soap stars are fun too. Like you said, it's a lot of overlap between Hallmark and soaps. Because even like last year, we had Darren Brooks on, who
My favorite. Yeah, it was like
Darren and Kelly Brooks on. So, the super fun and just this nice.
Yeah, God plays his brother on Bold and Beautiful, so that was my start to the world.
Okay. Fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, those are just really, really awesome people and just kind of a lot of fun. But yeah, I bet those soap stars just kind of keep because they never end. Those soap stories just
They get their buzz going for their Emmy reels every year,
right?
Or their charity events, or their fan events, or there's something that's always happening. Or there's events now.
Right.
Yeah, so many events. Do you like? Well, I already asked you that question. All right, tell us when you're not writing and interviewing, what do you like to do?
Walking. I do my 10 to 20,000 steps a day just to like get my steps in. I learned from like the COVID mistakes. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna feel like I can't feel my legs anymore. So yeah, and I love watching movies, and then with my memory, I could just like write a review based on just watching. I don't have to like write notes. Just like pleasure. Like at the end of the day, like what? Because I have to cover 4 soap operas every day.
Right.
So I just want to like even fast forward to see what's going through, so I have an idea when I'm interviewing them, because I love that world. It's so dedicated.
They are that's such a dedicated world.
Such a hard job.
Right. Like they do so many scenes and it's crazy.
20 to 80 pages. If it's crazy. It's like I don't know how to do it.
It's so funny. Kelly Kruger Rooks was just saying, she goes, Darren can like look at a piece of paper and walk away and do the entire scene. She's just like, wait, what?
Yeah. By then it's the brain is a muscle. Look.
Yeah.
Right.
I tried it. So with my photograph memory, it works. But yeah, it's like cool. It takes me just a while to get used to and once you know your character, you know where it's going.
Right.
And if the storyline's happening, you could tell like where they're off and where they're It's interesting. It's a muscle.
Right. So are there any perks to being the, power journalist? What are the perks?
Oh, I haven't paid for a ticket since 2009 for a concert.
That's amazing. That actually right there is like.
And it's funny because the COVID year only did 33 shows and then the world shut down.
Right.
That was in a few months. But like I think the year before was like I had like a list of how many concerts did like every year, like 190 the year before, 283 like 2017 when I was always out at a concert.
No way.
It was like, for my 30th, I'm like, I'm 30. I have all this time ahead. I'm like, let me just go to a different concert tonight.
Right. And so do you usually get one ticket or do you get to bring a friend?
Plus one at least.
Okay.
Most shows.
Yeah.
Does it ever are you ever tired of it? Are you ever like, oh, I don't want to go to another concert?
No.
Yeah.
It keeps me alive. It keeps me like young every night. And then I get the best night's sleep out of a concert because you're standing all day. It's like when you go to bed, it's like the best. That's when all your like hours of sleep will register. You just fall asleep.
Because it's like such a it engages so many different things of your mind, right? It's physically
it's like
right.
flashing of the lights and the audience. It's like
right. And you get like the audio and the visual and the
a night to go to bed.
Interactions.
All these people to interview and write about. It's like that's why I hate sleeping. It's like I feel like I lose getting so many things done then.
Like sleeping I was just gonna say, like, we are not maybe the longest sleepers either. So it is what it is. It works out fine for us. Is there a concert you've never been to that you really wish you could go to?
She doesn't tour anymore, but I love to see Kate Bush. Remember the Hill Resurgence? Running up that hill.
Yep. And there are some artists that just don't really tour much or sing live very much, and so there's like
voice or they're hard of hearing. It's a lot of stuff,
yeah. And so there's always like that somebody there that you might not ever see. Huh.
I think Ozzy's retiring from touring or no.
Well, you know, Ozzy is.
Gosh,
I
he's
mean,
still touring. My gosh. Okay.
uh,
Still touring. So I wanted to ask you something. Okay, what keeps you going? Like, what keeps you to keep on writing and interviewing? What's your drive?
Oh, just to somehow hit a world record someday with like the most articles.
All right,
well,
what
how
is
many you
that?
gotta
What's
write?
that number?
I think when I tried years ago, I think they told me there was like a Romanian prime minister that wrote like 25,000 back in the day. According to Britannica, I'm like, when did he have time to write 25,000 articles in the 1900s and 1,000 books? That's like mathematically impossible. It's not enough hours, seconds in the day, and that's before computers. So I don't know, unless he had like a whole day
Minions.
to write him articles.
Yeah, he wrote Minions wrote for him and put his name to it.
Probably.
Yeah, that's
No,
the way
the
that stuff was done then.
I'm like, if he's a mania, when you have time to like 1,000 books and 25,000 articles. So,
Right.
yeah,
Hey, let's talk just a little bit. You recently received Best of Long Island Winner Award. That's the 7th consecutive. Tell us a little bit about that award.
oh, it's like fan voted. It's like, I think it starts again this week. It's October 1st. I think it starts. I don't know how many categories I'm in this year, but yeah, it's 7 years in a row, and I think 15 wins in total. Last year I lost 2, but oh well. And now at least it proves that it's not rigged in my favor, so I can't say. You're like, oh, you're gonna win every year, but like, no, I guess I didn't have the votes last year, so
Right.
So can we vote, or is it?
yeah, you can vote. Yeah, I think you did vote for me last year.
We did. We did.
Look, the biggest reward is just getting work all the time. That's when you feel successful, because the awards are nice. They look good on my mantle in my attic somewhere, but not going to keep me warm like when I'm 80 years old. It's like about the journey. It's about the touching lives through your work, through your writing, through your verbiage, making, a lasting impact and people happy, bringing smiles. It's my positivity in journalism with this, because there's so much sad news out there.
True.
With me, it's an escape. Read my artist or music or whatever, or sports interview, and people can like, oh, this is a sigh of relief compared to like the craziness in the world.
Yeah, you're like the hallmark of
right
entertainment journalists. Yes.
Right.
The feel good.
Mr. Rogers.
I love that. Hey, of the Olympians you've been interviewing, who are a couple of fun names that we should look for as we're moving closer to the Olympics? Like
Caleb Dressel is my favorite. Caleb.
Okay, and what does Caleb do?
Swim.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite, huh?
He did. Remember, he did the Minions commercial a few years ago, and
the
summer. That was cool.
Yep, absolutely.
I think he's getting back into the pool because he took a year off last year, so he has to get his time. But I'm sure by the time next summer comes around, he'll be back in shape.
He'll be ready. You know, I think some of these people have learned a bit from it's only over recent history that athletes have continued as they got older, and one of the things they learned to do is that you actually have to give your body a rest.
Yeah,
you can't.
What do you call the twisties or the yips?
Correct, right? You have to give your body a rest. Let it heal. Let your mental health get strong again too. Yeah, no, that's taxing on more than just our physical body, and then they can come back, and we're seeing athletes. Swimmers, we've had some swimmers swim longer than anybody else's before, and gymnasts, and we've seen quite a few things. So I'm excited, and it's nice to see some of those people back. Anybody new that you've talked to that you like?
There's like 3 new swimmers from New Jersey recently that are making.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like Dare Rose, Jack Alexi, and I think Dustin Lasco.
Okay, fun.
They're like almost half my age, so yeah, it's like a little older.
Jersey could be taking over the swim team.
Right, and like Nick Fink, and they're like all like killing the relays lately, so maybe they'll have a good shot at making the team next year. Because the Olympic trials in the U.S. are harder than the actual Olympics.
Correct.
You have the best of this country going, because in the world anybody can make an Olympic team. If you just think like in Greece, you have to be like one of the 6 people that makes it. Like there's not that much competition. So if you have the time, you qualify and you make it. Here you have to compete for those slots.
Right.
And like at any college, Texas, Berkeley, Florida, or Indiana, there's like 30 amazing swimmers in every race. So it's like it's so loaded with talent.
Right. The Division I college has the swimming level is just through the roof, right?
It's like
the gymnasts too.
It's 2 teams. It's 2 slots from every team. It's like crazy.
Right. Right.
Off to them and like just to survive a workout every day. It's like 2 hours, and I'm like, just to read it, it's like calculus. I'm like, how do you do this? I'm like, how do you quantify 97.5% speed? You don't, Markos. We wing it. I'm like, oh, okay, that explains it. Because I'm like, how do you? Oh my, the workout. It's like just I have a headache reading it, let alone executing it.
Right.
Right.
Oh my,
Right.
like,
97.5% speed. That's spectacular.
I get it. Like, like the semifinal is that rate, then 100% the final, then like 89% of heat. I'm like, whatever. It's just
Yeah.
Then you don't want to go too slow so the others can beat. I don't know.
Then you're not making it to the next level. You got to get through. It's a shake of the dice, man.
That's why they have like the A race, the B race, the C final. It's like all these finals now. It's like crazy.
Right.
Sometimes
And
even
they got to get through.
wind up in the B finals and Nathan Adrian's. You're like, what?
Right. It's like all these heats too, so they end up swimming so many times. It's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, and like 20 minutes apart is like the next race. I'm like, oh.
No, I can't wait for the Olympics to see all these New Jersey kids.
Eat like a bagel like an hour before. I'm like, how do you guys do it? Like, I would be with them. I'm like, oh, I don't know how you do it. It's like my hat goes off to you. It's like crazy.
Don't you love making those connections with those different people you wouldn't normally hang out with?
Yeah, at least them, they're a lot of them are not very PR trained. They're like young and they're like, so it's nice to like navigate them to help them. Like, look, this is what you say here, 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 just to like protect yourself and like it's like nice to like train them early and they get you in the day. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and it's nice that you take the time to give them those little tips.
And I feel look, I'm like, if I knew what now what I knew then, it'd be like it was back then in my Queens College days. It was trial and error.
Yeah,
right.
This worked. This didn't work. I'm like, okay, this is how you do it. I'm like, okay, learn on the go.
Hey, when you were in college, were you majoring in journalism?
No, there was no journalism major, so I was education major, and there was like a hiring freeze. So I was subbing in the day, and then just doing writing, writing for the college paper, and then that just took off.
That's crazy. What grade were you teaching?
I had the detention room, save room, we called it. Like for 2 years, I was a detention room teacher. I'm like, oh my God, I had like the 3
like
worst.
At high school?
No, elementary.
Oh, elementary.
I had like the 3 to 4 worst kids every day with me. I'm like, okay.
They're like your buddies at that point. They're the same kids come every day. That's why detention doesn't work. That's why that's why the big
like like a table that was like a half moon, and you like you sit in one end, and the other kids are like, okay, just make sure they do all the work that the teacher gives them in like 8 hours, 7 hours. I'm like, okay. And
these kids can't sit there. That's why they're there. Like, it's like literally why that doesn't work.
I need to save myself from the save room. It was hilarious.
That's key. There was no journalism degree.
No, because the college didn't have one. So yeah, just a minor.
We had journalism degrees here, and I know I'm older than you.
I guess other colleges in CUNY specialize in that, but I guess if
you just started writing, so you just started writing in college. You weren't even majoring in journalism. You were majoring in education, and then where did you put your articles when you're? I'm like, now I'm
college newspaper.
Right.
Me and my the people that my co-editors there, we made it from like a 12-page paper to like a 96-page New York Times paper with like every section of like these categories.
So did you always like to write? Like
love writing. Whether it's high school would never publish me. That's why my high school reunion, I was there 20-year reunion. And she was like, how many articles have you had in the high school paper? I'm like, none.
Yeah.
I was writing about country music back then, and back then it was taboo. They would never publish me St. Francis Prep.
In the high school paper, come on.
Because 2001, 2000, it was like taboo. They would not do it. Yeah.
What?
So I was like, I guess I was country when country wasn't cool, so I made it.
I'm sorry, but still, it's your high school paper. Like, put a variety of things in it.
They ideally, but I guess back then it was like they didn't support my talent. So to Queens College to take me seriously. The only thing in high school that they did support me was my poetry, because back then I was writing lots and lots of poems.
I was gonna say, did you write, stories or poetry? So poetry was your
poetry. Loved it. Yeah.
Do you still write poetry?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally to me. I just spit it out.
You ever
That's why
publish
you're
it?
so good with words, right?
I published like a collection and during quarantine for free online. I'll send it to you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Poetry in quarantine, yeah.
Okay, I love that. I love
Me
that.
too. Me too. My daughter just had a little poem published.
Cool.
She was real proud of that.
Yeah.
The
No,
best feeling.
that's fine. I'm still like, they publish your poems, but not your country music articles.
Because poems went in a literary magazine, but it was
Okay.
so political back then. Like they didn't want anything to do with country music. It was all like, like I don't even know what they had back in 2000. Like music stuff was like
Britney Spears and
Yes.
Christina.
Wow.
If it wasn't Britney or Christina or
Yeah.
or Limp Bizkit, I'm like,
yeah.
okay. That's what they would ever
That's all they wanted.
country stuff. Alan Jackson or Martina McBride or any
Yeah.
of that. They're like, sorry. I'm like, but come on. They're like, now I have 20,000 bylines to shove in their face.
Yeah.
Right. I'm kind of blown. I just assumed like one that you majored in journalism and then you didn't, and then I'm assuming you wrote and then they wouldn't publish you. I'm like,
a music magazine in Staten Island, Broken Records magazine. Within 3 weeks, I became a staff writer because I saw how good I was. And 9 months later, I became an associate editor and then managing editor. Then before my 3 years were up, I left because, a magazine takes like a month to publish.
right.
And you like fast.
Yeah. And I was like, let me just branch out in the online world. And then everybody went with me. And then everybody was getting the articles an hour later. Everybody was happy. The artists were happy. The publicists were happy. And I was never short of work again.
I
That's
love it.
crazy.
So
So,
fun
and,
story. Yeah.
and you went to Queens College. Isn't there a line in Hamilton about Queens College? I don't know.
Seinfeld went there.
No, she's saying in the musical Hamilton.
Oh,
There is a line about
Queens College. There is.
I didn't even remember that, but okay.
Yeah.
I only know random things like lines for musicals.
I just knew Seinfeld had the Queen's College shirt in like a few episodes. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, Queens.
All right.
Somebody over here in the chat is like, "Yay, Queens College!" So
Yvonne, yes. All right, let's play a little favorites game if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right, tell us your favorite. I'm going to ask you a two-part question. We need to know your favorite Hallmark movie and your regular favorite movie.
I like from a holiday standpoint, I like the Three Wise Men and a Baby. And the regular one, I like the 27-Hour Day with Andrew.
Yes.
And
yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I live in a 27-hour day every day. So yeah.
You do, yeah.
Three Wise Men and a Baby, like that was such a huge hit. Ended up being like the #2 Christmas movie aired anywhere last year. Like it was.
Of course, with me promoting it, how could it not? I'm kidding.
Exactly. I mean, they also had they had a power trio in that with the three guys with Tyler and Andrew. Yeah, Andrew and Paul, and then directed by Terry Ingram, who's one of their most prolific directors. So this was a power cast, right? For sure. Okay.
I liked Ladder 49. It's not a popular one, but with John Travolta and Joaquin Phoenix,
Okay, yeah.
After 9/11, like the firefighters.
Yeah.
This will happen. I remember it recently because another actor that was in it was in another movie that I reviewed. I'm like, oh, and it brought me back to the Ladder 49 days. Where I was like, wow, just everybody in the theater that time in New York that supported the FDNY just was in tears because
right.
it's all lost a sad movie, but it just goes to show the heroism and now with New York and 20 years later, it's that was Ladder 49. A lot of people don't know it, but it's a good one. It's
I like that. I might have to pull that out then.
Yeah.
How about a TV show that your favorite thing that you're streamed or watch?
Oh God, so many.
I know.
What don't I do? TV shows. Favorite TV show. I love Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
That's to Be a Millionaire. That's I love the game show.
Game shows, yeah.
Yeah, game shows.
It's because it tests your memory.
You'll have to watch Person, Place, or Thing.
Okay.
With Peterman.
He was on that one.
You might see me and Catherine make an appearance.
Awesome. That's great. You got to send me it. I got to check it out.
I'll have to figure out the date. I'm on one. I can't remember. November. But yeah, I'm excited.
I love the four soaps. I have to be faithful to them. What else? I love so many shows. I can't even.
Yeah.
I love Abbott Elementary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Right?
Thank God I'm not in the public school system anymore. Just like thank God. Makes me feel grateful. Yeah, so yeah.
Is that something you can watch that's like not work? It's like just
Yeah.
to relax. Yeah.
Fun. And then if
So
I
fun.
want to, I could do it like the next day. I'll be like, oh, I watched that. I could just whip up a review from my head.
Mm,
I love that. I love that.
awesome.
So so something completely different. Favorite food.
Effie's beating my mom's. Effie's beef.
I'm like, you post a lot about your mom's food. Now, does she have a restaurant?
And she has one in Greece, so yeah. And she's there now, so yes, they're running it together, so yeah.
So she has one in a restaurant in Greece.
A family restaurant, yeah, with her siblings, yeah.
Oh, fun.
That's super cool. What's the favorite thing that your mom makes? That your favorite thing?
Spinach pie, spanakopita. So always post about, or the stuffed tomatoes or peppers, but I'm sick of them all years.
Okay, the spinach pie. Say the actual name for that one more time.
Spanakopita.
That sounds beautiful. I bet you can just smell it when you.
Oh, when I go every day from a long day of like interviewing, just go in through the front door, like the aroma just lures you in.
And you're just like, this is gonna be good.
Or the Greek, even like Greek salad, it's the best salad in the world, and
It is.
organic garden. So yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Garden, so yeah. Effie's garden, Effie's beach, everything is organic. So yeah.
Speaking my language.
Right.
Yeah. That's
When
neat.
I'm off to Greece, I'm going to her restaurant.
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but lately I'm obsessed with beets.
I like beets.
In
Yeah.
the garden. When I did I did an article on like the health benefits of beets because I'm like, wow, like after like studying regenerative agriculture, I'm like, this is like the coolest thing ever.
Right. I love anything from my garden. If I can walk outside and grab it from my garden, that just makes me happy. Right. Like I want my herbs to all come out of there. And getting to the end of my garden season. But
Yeah. I like to do beets in my smoothie, actually. Just a little, like half of a beet. Then you have to put lemon in it to cut the earthy flavor. But all right. So when you're eating all this delicious food, what is your favorite drink?
Water. That's
Just
all I
water.
drink.
Yeah.
All year. I think I've only had 6 cranberry juices and a little sip of champagne when David Guetta offered me it. So I'm like, okay. When David Guetta offers you champagne, you just take several gulps and pretend you like it or like it, or you can't say no to that. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And everything else was like nothing more than like the sparkling ice 5-calorie thing.
Yeah.
All year I've been on water and like nothing else calorie wise. And maybe regular tea. That's 0 calories.
Yeah. And tea is so good for you too.
Very good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So as somebody who's out on the East Coast, do you have a favorite musical?
Oh, so many. Back in the day, like South Pacific.
Oh, yeah.
South Pacific.
Absolutely.
There's nothing like a Dame and Bali High. And
yes.
Oh gosh, so many good musicals.
How about something contemporary?
I'm trying to think now. I like Kimberly at Kimball recently.
Oh,
okay.
What else? Oh God, so many. Hamilton, I liked. Mean Girls. I liked a lot of stuff. Got to look at the list.
I just laughed when I just recently became aware of Shucked, and I was texting my son, and he's like, "Actually, it's supposed to be amazing." I'm like, "Okay, oh Shucked, corn."
Never heard of it.
I heard of it, but I haven't seen it. So yeah.
No, he was like, "It's supposed to be good." I'm like, "Okay, whatever you say, musical theater boy."
Love it. I feel like you already answered the last one, band or singer.
Martina McBride, a band. Oh gosh, I love Rascal Flatts. I love the Chicks. That was my first concert ever. The Chicks, Dixie Chicks, but now they call them the Chicks.
That was your first concert ever?
Yeah, them and with Michelle Branch opening for them.
Michelle Branch, yeah.
Nice.
I know you wanted. She was big back then. The Game of Love period.
That's a great first concert.
You are a big country guy, I guess.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Alan Jackson. Oh God, Alabama, all that stuff. Rascal Flatts.
Oh, Alabama. Yeah.
Dan and Shay, Florida Georgia line. I guess.
I just don't normally hear East Coast people be like country.
It's actually kind of big over here now. Yeah.
We had a country station for a time being, so it was before they took it off. But yeah, it was like popular in that range.
Yeah, we have one 98.1 Cat Country. Yeah. So buddy. Well, it's always fun to talk with you.
too.
We'll end the live. Oh, Catherine left. So I will end the live, but stick around so we can say goodbye off camera. But thank you so much for taking the time
having
out
me.
of your very busy day
For
And-
you,
with us.
And
Yeah.
congratulations.
I know.
Over
you.
20,000
excited.
articles.
It's a lot of
what a
carpal
milestone.
tunnel. It's a lot of carpal tunnel.
But you know what? You're just pounding them out every day. And we love being able to read them and the people that you are bringing to us to see. They're a little peek into what's going on in their lives.
Yeah.
Anytime, my pleasure.
So fun. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. And as always, thank you, Markos.
Thank you for
Bye,
having me again.
everybody. You're so welcome.